What is up, Tube users? I am the stereotypical gamer, and welcome back to another fantastically fun games for under $15. Today, we are talking about my most recommended game just from people that I know that play games, from Steam itself. This has been the most recommended to play game for a long time for me, and I finally got into it recently, and that is Slay the Spire. I think my favorite thing with Slay the Spire is the long-term strategy that comes into play while trying to complete all 3 acts and beat the final boss. I haven't played much of the characters. I've played only the first character you unlock, just baseline, this like strength build character, and the second character, which is like a poison build character, and I just beat the game for the first time on the poison build character recently, and I just love the strategic planning that goes into trying to get through all 3 acts and beat the final boss while getting thrown all of these random roguelike elements that either help or hinder your progress to that ultimate goal. It's just a really fun journey. And I really love the simplistic nature of the deck building aspect of this game. You know, each character starts out with a really basic deck that just has like attack and defensive cards, really straightforward, and then as you get more cards and get more items and stuff like that, you can really carve your way into building a strategic deck. And for the most part, there are definitely cards that each character has in their arsenal that you want to pick up each time, but there are different strategies that each character can have, and I really do love that. And I love the uniqueness of all the different encounters in this game, whether it's just like random encounters you come across in question mark rooms, or random fight encounters that you come across, or random like elite boss encounters and stuff like that. Each of them really feels unique and are really fun to come across because each of them has a strength and a weakness, and trying to counter the strength while attack the weakness is just a really fun thing to figure out. I mean, once you get more into it and you kind of repeat the same enemies over and you understand those strengths and weaknesses, it does become a lot easier, but figuring those out in the moment when you haven't faced that enemy is a really fun experience. And I love how easy this game is to pick up on just basically any device. Like, I think this game is on mobile for like $10, and it's on sale right now for I think like $10 as well. And it's just a great game to have on all these devices, just because of the simplicity of the graphics, but the complexity of the game itself. It's really enjoyable to play just anywhere. And I love the uniqueness that each character has. I've only really played the first 2 for the most part, but I have played the 3rd and 4th character in like a daily climb once before, so I have a somewhat idea of how their decks play out, but I don't really know the complexities of them. But I love it's just 4 characters baseline in this game, and when you level up and you get these new cards for the characters, and you can just build out really interesting strategies for each character based on the cards that you get, and even just like common cards you get, you can really build out some interesting strategies for attacking and defending against different encounters. And I haven't gotten into it, but I have looked into the modding aspect, because when you launch the game, you can launch it regular or with mods, so I was kind of curious on that, and it seems like there's a good amount of really fun looking mods for this game, and just having that ease of mod support is a real plus in my book. And another great thing about this game is kind of like the hill climb progression and balancing healing yourself and staying alive and getting enough power in order to defeat the next encounter or defeat the next boss. I really think that kind of balance of progression is really interesting in this game, because yeah, you do need to keep yourself alive, so you do need to heal, but you also need to go in and take risks on some of those like elite boss encounters, or upgrade instead of heal at some rest stops in order to just gain more power, because there comes a point when you just don't have enough power to kill a certain encounter that you come across, and you just lose that balance. And I just love trying to maintain that, and it's really fun to hit that equilibrium, I feel. But enough about the good in this game, let's go over some of the bad aspects of Slay the Spire. I wish there was more uniqueness to the first set of encounters, basically until halfway through the first act. the encounters are pretty boring because you have a really basic deck that just has attack and defensive cards. You don't really have any power cards or anything like that, and all the enemies are pretty basic that you come across. Like, for the most part, you shouldn't be taking really any damage for the first half of the first act, I feel, and I wish there was some way to make it a little bit more unique without it being overpowered, because obviously you don't have a great deck off the start, so you shouldn't be facing like really super powered monsters, but some way to make it more interesting, like maybe throw in power cards into the starting decks and stuff like that would just make it feel a little bit more fun. Another thing I wasn't a fan of, and this is kind of a spoiler alert to this run, so I got all the way to the final boss in the third act, and it was a boss that I have never faced before, and so I just kind of did my thing of just whittling down the ads and then taking care of the boss and stuff like that. And I took the boss health down to 0, and it just went straight back up to full health, and then just did a move that basically one-shot me in the next turn, and I just was there confused for a few minutes because it was like I had gotten the boss health down to 0, and then it just kind of played the Uno reverse card on me and killed me instead. So to go through all 3 acts like that and to face a boss like that for the first time was really frustrating, and I'm not really sure what I could have done about it, but yeah, that was just a really bad way to finish this run. And I wish that there was more strategies around getting block cards. For the most part, I haven't found a strategy that involves around getting just a high amount of block cards. There are some good cards that you can use that will, like, you know, deal attacks to all enemies based on your current block value and stuff like that. Or you can be the poison person that is poison down enemies and throw blocks up on yourself just so you don't get hit and your enemies keep getting poisoned each turn like that. So there are some strategies, but they don't really they pale in comparison to just attacking your enemies straight out, because for the most part attack cards are a lot more powerful than using really any defensive cards. And I mean, this is just another small gripe, and it's just part of the gameplay of this game, and I do enjoy some parts of it, but I don't like that there's so many different, I think they're called trinkets, it's the things in the top left. I wish there was not so many that had downsides to it. I feel like each time I clear through a boss, there's usually a couple that have downsides, like I'll gain an extra energy, but I will lose the ability to gain potions or something like that. And yeah, potions you don't really need them in order to clear through any encounter in this game, but having potions is nice, and so I just don't like having that sort of drawback each and every time like I clear through. It usually happens on the boss chests, you know, there's usually 2 of them that have some sort of downside, and then one that's kind of just flat good but not great. And so I really wish that there wasn't that many trinkets that had downsides. And while the roguelike elements in this game are phenomenal, just because of the basic of kind of gameplay aspects, it's not really graphically intensive or anything like that, and it's just kind of basic gameplay overall, I kind of think the baseline price of this game of $25 is a little steep. Obviously, it's on sale right now for $10, and I think that's a great price for this game, but for the baseline content of this game, I feel like $20 to $5 is pretty steep. But ultimately, I think the good by far outweighs the bad in this game, and it is such a fun game. And it's kind of funny because it was a game that I got recommended so much, and it was just kind of a thing because I got recommended it, I just kind of pushed it aside and been like, yeah, I'll try it out at some point, but I just never thought I would actually get to it because I was just pestered by all these recommendations, and then I finally decided to cave in and get this game, and I'm glad I did because it is a lot of fun. So maybe now I'll start listening to people's recommendations more. And I don't know if you would even describe this as like a genre, but I really love these games that are easy to pick up and learn but difficult to master. You know, this game is definitely really simplistic when you start out just having basic attack and defense, and it's really easy to understand what to do in each turn and each encounter you come across. But just balancing that aspect of your own life versus the power of your deck is really fun, and balancing that through 3 acts and through 3 boss fights is really fun, and even just like 3 elite fights in the game, because elite fights definitely feel like mini boss fights in this game. So just kind of balancing that power versus life is extremely fun, and this game nails that so well. And even though I haven't played a lot of this game and have only played really 2 characters of the 4 that are in the game, I really do love the just overall aspects of each of them and how unique they feel, and just the different strategies that goes into building the decks for each of these characters is really fun. And I just wish there was more characters, honestly. They are so well built in their uniqueness, and the strategies that you have to come up with for each character is extremely fun, and I'm really excited for Slay the Spire 2 to see what kind of characters and deck buildings are going to be a part of that game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did. Comment any other fantastically fun games that you know of for under $15, and I'll definitely check them out. And make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to play this last boss fight out just so you guys can see the madness that I had to insert, and I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.